I was David, a man of quiet routines. My world was built on precision, on logic, on the predictable hum of code. For 15 years, that world revolved around Sarah. She was the vibrant counterpoint to my introspection, the splash of color in my carefully ordered life. Sarah, with her dazzling smile, her ambitious spirit, her uncanny ability to charm anyone who crossed her path. She was an interior designer, a visionary as people often called her. I was a software engineer, my successes measured in lines of flawless code, hers in breathtaking spaces and an ever-growing list of affluent clients. We had a meticulously curated life, a beautiful home, shared dreams, silent understandings. I believed in forever, in a tapestry woven with shared threads. I believed in Sarah. Then the thread snagged. It wasn't a sudden tear, no dramatic confrontation. It was a slow unraveling, a creeping chill that started with a misplaced charging cable, hers, on my side of the bed. It wasn't the right one. It was smaller, older. It led to a burner phone tucked deep in the back of her sock drawer. A cheap, nondescript device, one she'd clearly kept hidden. My fingers trembled as I picked it up. My analytical mind, usually so sharp, felt sluggish, numb. I unlocked it. The messages were a punch to the gut, a slow, agonizing suffocation. Not just an affair, not a moment of weakness. This was a parallel life, a meticulously constructed deception spanning years. Dates, vacations, pet names, future plans. Plans that didn't involve me. My wife, my Sarah, the woman who promised me forever, was living a lie.
She hadn't just cheated, she had made a fool of me. She hadn't just betrayed me, she had systematically stripped me of my very identity, turning my deepest love into a cruel joke. The world tilted. The air grew thick. Every memory, every shared laugh, every tender touch became a poisoned arrow piercing my heart. The quiet man of routine vanished, replaced by a hollow shell filled with an icy rage. I watched her after that with new eyes. Her effortless charm now seemed like a performance. Her sparkling eyes held a cunning I'd never noticed. She was an actress on the grand stage of our life, and I was merely an unwitting extra. She was adored, admired by her clients, by our friends, by everyone. She cultivated this image of the philanthropic interior designer, the creative genius with unparalleled intuition. She loved being unique, original. That was her greatest pride, her most cherished possession, her sense of unparalleled self. Confrontation felt cheap. It felt like giving her the satisfaction of seeing my pain, of confirming her victory. I didn't want to break her heart. I wanted to break her mind. I wanted to dismantle the one thing she truly valued, the one thing she genuinely believed set her apart from everyone else. Her essence, her originality, her unique vision. The idea came to me slowly, meticulously, like a complex algorithm unfolding. My skills as a software engineer were my weapon. My quiet, observational nature, once a flaw, became my greatest asset. I began to build, not a case against her in a court of law, but a case against her in the court of her own mind. I created Eleanor Vance. Eleanor Vance wasn't real. She had no physical form, no beating heart. But her digital footprint, her professional persona, her burgeoning career was flawless. I built her from scratch, line by line, pixel by pixel. I gave her an identical design aesthetic to Sarah's. Not just similar, but uncannily so. The same muted color palettes, the same unexpected textures, the same minimalist yet luxurious feel. I scoured Sarah's digital archives, her mood boards, her saved pins, her private journal entries. I used machine learning algorithms to analyze Sarah's stylistic evolution, her intellectual property, her very thought process. Eleanor became Sarah's perfect digital doppelganger. I gave Eleanor a backstory eerily similar to Sarah's. A humble upbringing, a passion for design ignited by a forgotten relative, a slow climb to recognition. Eleanor launched a website strikingly similar to Sarah's. Her portfolio was filled with projects that mirrored Sarah's own current conceptualizations, projects Sarah had only thought of, discussed with me in hushed tones over dinner, or scribbled in her private notebooks. But Eleanor always had them first, always slightly better, always just a step ahead. I spent months in the shadows meticulously constructing Eleanor's online presence. Social media profiles, professional networking sites, even design forums. Eleanor posted insightful musings on aesthetics, on the human connection to space, on the very philosophy of design. These were often themes Sarah had only recently pondered or articulated to me in moments of vulnerability. Eleanor would articulate them first, more eloquently, more completely. The first whispers of Eleanor Vance began subtly. A design blog I controlled would feature Eleanor's groundbreaking work just weeks after Sarah had sketched out a similar concept. Sarah would scroll past it, a flicker of confusion in her eyes, a slight frown. "That's interesting," she'd murmur. "Looks a little like something I've been playing with." I'd nod noncommittally, my heart a block of ice in my chest. Then Eleanor won a local design award, one Sarah had been nominated for and was confident she'd secure. The award ceremony was awkward. Sarah plastered on a smile, but her eyes were darting around the room searching. The online articles praising Eleanor Vance's fresh yet timeless approach were identical to the one Sarah had dreamed of receiving herself. "Who is this Eleanor Vance?" Sarah asked one evening, her voice tight. "She just came out of nowhere. Her style is incredibly similar to mine. Don't you think, David?" "Is it? Perhaps a trend." The lie tasted like ash, but the look on her face, that first seed of doubt, was a balm. Eleanor's ascent became relentless. I made sure of it. She secured major commissions. She was featured in national design magazines. Often on the same month, Sarah was also expecting a feature. The articles would often subtly pit them against each other, highlighting Eleanor's innovative take on classic concepts, concepts Sarah had defined. I watched as Sarah's meticulously crafted public persona began to fray. Her confident smile faltered. Her unwavering belief in her own originality began to crack. She became paranoid. "They're copying me, David. Someone is stealing my ideas, my entire aesthetic," she'd rage. She'd spend hours late into the night searching for Eleanor Vance, for any personal detail to latch onto, to prove she was real, to expose her. But Eleanor Vance was a ghost, a digital phantom woven from Sarah's own creative essence. There was nothing to find, nothing to expose. The ultimate blow came at a prestigious international design conference. Sarah was a keynote speaker. Her speech was about the unique human fingerprint on design, the irreplaceable nature of individual creativity. She had poured her heart into it. 2 days before her speech, an article was published in a major design journal. The author was Eleanor Vance. The article was titled "The Myth of Originality: How Our Shared Conscious Shapes Our Unique Visions." It articulated with chilling precision the very points Sarah was going to make, but framed them in a way that subtly undermined Sarah's entire premise. It made Sarah's speech feel like a derivative echo. I saw her backstage before her talk. She was pale, trembling. She clutched a crumpled printout of Eleanor's article. "She even thinks like me, David," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "She knew what I was going to say. She took it. She took everything." That night, I watched her speak. She stumbled over her words, her usual passion replaced by a hollow recitation. The audience, usually captivated, seemed to shift uncomfortably. They saw it too, the lack of originality, the haunting familiarity. Her unique vision had been usurped.
her irreplaceable essence replicated and surpassed by a phantom. My goal wasn't to expose her to the world. It was to make her question if anything she'd ever thought, felt, or created was truly her own. To watch her perfect, curated world dissolve as she realized she wasn't just replaceable, but that her unique essence could be perfectly replicated and surpassed by a ghost. The revenge is working. Sarah is a shadow of her former self. Her creative spark has dimmed, replaced by a constant, anxious doubt. Her unique vision is gone, consumed by the phantom I created. But watching her crumble, seeing the light drain from her eyes, I feel nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction. Only a profound, suffocating emptiness. I destroyed her, just as she destroyed me. And in the process, I've become just as much of a ghost as Eleanor Vance. Because what's more devastating than losing everything? Losing yourself.